since I'm very like little kid, I was in touch with insects in so many forms because I was quite lucky to grow up in the countryside. We were traveling as well with the beehives and like spending summers in fields, like. So we learned since very little that other species were super important. When I arrived in London in 2012, I studied at this master called Material Futures. And it was really a platform for innovation and looking at new ways of making. So I got like surprisingly interested into insects. So I'm trying to explore different or like other species and trying to make their life a little bit more comfortable on Earth.
What role do you see the creative industries or art and design playing when it comes to wider issues such as biodiversity?
I think for me, the work like using all the waste of the insects was a way to kind of say, hey guys, like this is kind of interesting, like the properties of those materials are important. And so it was really a way to like sublime the insects and to show that they were not scary or because people are super scared of insects and blah, blah, blah. I mean, for me, in my practice, it's like fundamental to be collaborating with other people. So I work with farmers, I work with scientists, with craftsmen, with other artists as well. So for example, for the Please Stand By project, that is this project with the holes where the insects are living inside. I was teamed up with two scientists from King's College. Like myself, with my research, I would just like maybe do it right, but I would speculate a lot. So I think these collaborations are like key to anything that you do now.
I wonder if you kind of view your work as something that should be functional and should be for these other creatures, or if that it's a kind of standalone art piece.
I would say before I was trying to make objects. Now with all like the research I've done with the project Cocoon and from insects, I was really trying to become a designer, but then I'm really not a functional person. So I would say like the only way to make it functional, like that was important to me, that it really worked, was for the insects and not the humans. So that's why I developed Please Stand By and the Behave for the Science Museum in London. The new work that is more like switching into the insect habitat, of course, they have to work. Like I like speculative, but it's not me. Like I like to have a purpose for my work.
Do you think we could do more as a society in general to reflect nature in the kind of things we build and create?
I think as a society, it will be very important to educate like the youngest generation to all those issues. Like, I mean, it's starting now, like, but even more at school, like me, I'm just like a person who is trying to bring awareness. I mean, at my little scale,
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of working, like it brings a sensitivity to what people see and how people interact with the pieces, because now they are really habituated with insects, so it's a way to as well maybe see them in a different way, like maybe
sure.
Because it's true that people are really disgusted by insects generally.
Do you view your work as something that could be kind of scaled up? Do you ever imagine your pieces being like across an entire city, for example?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
I mean, this would really work into like architecture, into facades. Now we just finished a beehive, which is a educational beehive. So it's 3.20 meters high. So it's one of the larger pieces we made, but there is a bee colony living in the heart of the piece. So people can really, experience how they live, and it's a wild colony. So there is no need of taking the honey from them. Like it's really just an educational tool.
Would you have any advice for an individual who is wanting to do more in their kind of day-to-day life to help insects or to contribute to the kind of fight against habitat loss for insects?
I mean, they can create their own little habitats, like insect hotel that they can put on their windows. it's very easy. It's like reclaimed materials that you can find in nature. And actually, it can be super fun for a family, you know, like to take a Sunday afternoon in the garden or inside as well, because no, not everybody has a garden, of course. Create your small habitats and plant some nice flowers for pollinators on your balcony or your like window. I think that's my best advice for now. And then come to work with me to make an architecture out of this.